Does advertising foods to children cause health problems? By Katherine Kaczanowski. Children are a huge and growing market for advertisers and marketers. Children ages 4 to 12 are becoming a more attractive, significant source of income for marketers. In 2012, children ages 4 to 12 spent more than $29 billion of their own money on products such as clothes, candy, toys, and CDs. Why have children become an important target for advertisers? First is the nag factor. Children have high influence on their parents' purchase decisions. Second is the guilt factor. Time pressures on parents can lead to their own guilt by giving their children spending money. Third is the close gap factor. Baby boomer parents do not want to be perceived as boring to their children. Fourth is the technology factor. Children tend to be computer consultants for their whole family and have a huge impact on purchasing decisions. Fifth is the future factor. Children will have future spending power as they grow older. Children at a young age have clean slates with brands and their brand images. Advertisers know how important it is to build brand loyalty with children. Advertisers know that children are vulnerable consumers because they lack sophistication and experience compared to adults. Children have limited resources. Children typically cannot read, and thus they receive most of their information from television. Children tend to pay more attention to advertisements on television because they are more appealing and persuasive than the actual program they are watching. Children have less experience with products and tend to be more trusting of advertisements. And children have little context to research and evaluate the claims made in advertisements. The intended effects of advertising to children. Advertisers believe that they are educating children to evaluate products, brands, and their claims. Many children perceive advertisements on television as mere entertainment. Advertising funds the majority of programs on television these days, in particular children's programs. The unintended effects of advertising to children. Children have a hard time distinguishing between what is fact and fiction. They cannot separate advertisements on television and the programming content. Advertisements misinform children on gender roles. They tend to grow up believing more stereotypical views of sex roles. Advertising diminishes development. Advertisements on television only provide two-dimensional interaction with children. However, they still need interactions such as touch and smell to learn. Socialization problems with children have been blamed on television in general and advertising in particular. Advertising and other mass media creates unhealthy children. A number of factors can contribute to childhood obesity. However, television and advertisements seem to be a strong influence. This is because children tend to spend more time watching television than being active. The child obesity epidemic has become a serious health issue in today's society. The rates of obesity in American children and youth have tripled in the last quarter century. Approximately 20% of American youth are overweight. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, obesity has doubled among children ages 2 to 5 and 6 to 11. Obesity has tripled in teens ages 12 to 19. Childhood obesity can lead to serious problems as they grow older. For example, they are at risk for being obese as an adult and for poor health problems such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Children ages 8 to 18 encounter numerous types of media. They tend to spend more time in front of computers, televisions, and gaming screens than any other activity in their lives other than sleeping. It has been reported that children see an average of 5,000 food advertisements on television every year. Thus, it is not surprising that researchers have found strong associations between increases in advertising for non-nutritious foods and increases in the rates of childhood obesity. A study by researchers in the Institute of Psychology, Health, and Society examined the food preferences of a group of children ages 6 to 13 in Northwest England. They found that after children viewed food advertisements, they were more likely to pick unhealthy foods. In the study, they also found that children who watched television for 20 hours a week or more were more likely to be affected by food advertisements than children who watched less hours a week of television. These children also had a significantly greater body mass index than those children who frequently watched less television each week. The Walt Disney Company has instituted an advertising junk food ban on programming for children. Disney will be enforcing strict standards for food and beverage advertising on Disney XD during Saturday morning shows on Disney-owned ABC television stations, on Radio Disney, and online. Food and beverage advertisers who seek to promote their products on Disney's cable network will be required to meet guidelines regarding serving size, calories, and fat and sugar content. In particular, products such as Capri Sun drinks, Kraft Lunchables, and sugary cereals won't be allowed to advertise on Disney. Disney's strict rules will take full effect in 2015 when existing contracts with advertisers end and will allow companies to reformulate their products. Disney previously chose to stop licensing its film characters for McDonald's Happy Meals because of their relationship between fast food and childhood obesity. Disney recently introduced the Mickey Check. This icon identifies nutritious foods and menu items sold in stores, online, and at restaurants and kiosks in their parks. Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network have also been promoting healthier lifestyles for children since 2007. Nickelodeon recently had a worldwide day of play to encourage children to become more active through Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. The network went dark from noon to 3 p.m. to encourage children to move away from watching television and to be more active. Hungry Jacks and Chupa Chups have been slammed for advertising junk food to children through smartphone applications. These applications were Hungry Jacks Makes It Better app and Chupa Chups LOL Coaster app. These applications contain multiple forms of branding. They offer free junk food offers, making these applications simple, effective, and appealing. For the past 32 years, Quebec has banned fast food companies to advertise to children in print and electronic media. Researchers have found that children in Quebec consume $13 to $18 billion fewer in fast food calories each year. In addition, they spend $88 million less on purchasing fast foods each year. The result of this is that Quebec has the lowest childhood obesity rates in Canada. Young adults from Quebec were 38% less likely to purchase fast food when they visited Ontario, where there is no ban on advertising. This shows that habits that are established in childhood follow them the rest of their lives. Advertising affects the choices we make whether we realize it or not. Adults know better, but children do not. This clearly shows when children see advertisements. Federal officials are concerned with childhood obesity and are monitoring the food advertising targeted at children. However, there is not much they can do if they see something they do not agree with. Later this year, the FTC plans on releasing a report that states companies and how they are marketing to children. Beyond this, options for the FTC are limited. This is because in the 1970s, Congress banned the FTC from making broad rules on how food is advertised to children. In addition, the FTC is conducting a law review that requires children's websites to get parental consent before collecting their personal information from children. Not only are children seeing advertisements online and on television, but they are also seeing them in school daily. Maine is the only state with a law prohibiting junk food advertisements in schools. There is much junk food advertising masquerades as education in schools. Ronald McDonald visits schools to promote literacy, character education, and fitness. McDonald's, Coke, and Pepsi all have in-school fitness programs. In addition, junk food is advertised in schools through vending machines, team sponsorships, incentive programs, fundraising, direct advertising, and sponsored educational materials. Thus, we can see how advertising foods to children creates health problems, in particular childhood obesity.